Good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Levy, and while I'm one of the presenters today, I really have the first honor of introducing Dr. Lynn B. Harrison. Lynn is a friend of mine. Lynn is a leader in our community, but I also think of Lynn as a scientist, a philanthropist, and an entrepreneur. Among her many interests, she founded a business back in 1981, before all of you guys were around here, grew it over the next 35 plus years and sold it. The dream of many entrepreneurs, to found a business, to build it, and then to sell it successfully. Dr. Harrison has also been involved with a lot of other interesting things, such as Israel's effort to send rockets out into space, and more practically working with Hillel on campuses around the globe. Locally, we would note that she funded and created the Dr. Lynn B. Harrison STEM Center and the program at Goldock Academy, and more recently funded an endowment to promote STEM education at all 4 of Greater Metro West Jewish day schools. Today's conference was, in fact, Lynn's idea. For that, for her friendship, for her support, and for so much more, we should all say thank you to her. And with that, I'm now going to turn it over to Dr. Harrison to open up this conference. Lynn, please take it away. Lynn, you're muted. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Steve. I have big thank yous also. First and foremost to Abby Roth, my co-chair in this, without whose awesome efficiency and organization skills, the conference wouldn't really have taken place. Thank you to the 6 speakers who are giving of their time, of their intellect, and of their love for you, our Jewish kids. There's a genesis to this student conference, and at the risk of boring those who've heard it, I'll tell it to you again. I was in Israel at a science high school doing due diligence at a science school funded by an organization to which I belong and on whose board I serve, Israel SciTech, known as ORT in Israel. There was an unbelievable project that 3 boys had done. You know how a leg atrophies when it's in a cast for 6 weeks? The calf muscle, the gastrocnemius, doesn't get any work. And so when you emerge, you really need intensive physical therapy. These 3 boys had invented a bladder, an inflatable bladder, which you put into the onto the leg before the cast went on. Then, and it was remotely controlled, depending on the competence of the patient, it could be programmed for a certain number of inflations at certain periods, or the patient could do it him or herself. Really a very, very useful and potentially lucrative device. Their teacher called in 3 men from a medical equipment company. The men were properly impressed. They ended up handing out papers to the boys, taking away all of the lab notes, all of the device and everything. They gave each of the boys a laptop. And when I heard this, you could have heard my scream from Israel to the United States. I said, what did you do? For a mess of pottage, you sold their birthright. They said, what are you talking about? Their parents could never have afforded to buy them a laptop. Well, I took steps, and hopefully this will not happen in Israel again, but I'm also determined that it doesn't happen here in Greater Metro West to any of you and the theft of your intellectual property. So that's what today's conference is all about. I met with open-handed approval and cooperation from all of our 6 speakers. I think that what they have to tell you is important. And now for the mechanics of how we do this, I'd like to turn it over to Abby Roth.
Hey everybody, we're about to open the breakout rooms. So even if you don't remember which one you registered for, if you click on the more on the bottom of your screen, you'll see the link to the breakout rooms and you can join the first session.